I'm Regina McCann-Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. This week, we're going to take a walk on the educational side, and we're going to stick with our college grads and our young adults. We're going to talk about building a financial foundation for the next generation, and just try to talk about things that may help them through the early years of life. So, did you know that according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 1.1 million students ages anywhere from 20 to 29 earned a bachelor's degree between January and October of 2019. Now, did you also know that many of them will be saddled with thousands of dollars in credit card debt on top of the student loans when they're handed their diplomas? Now, we hear all about the student loan debt, but some of us, just forget about that credit card debt they're accumulating during college as well. So, we're going to talk about a few tips to help the graduates pay down their debt and attain a solid financial footing as they enter the working world. Now, the graduates may even want to work with the family financial advisor or the investment professional for the family to try and accomplish some of these goals. So, the first thing you want to do is get a financial education. Many new graduates know very little about money management when they leave college. It's not a course that's given to these kids. It's not even taught in the high school level. It should be either high school or college. There should be a financial management class just for life. But unless you're a finance major, you're really not going to come across those types of classes. The good news is that it will not take much more money to learn about personal finance. There are dozens of free articles and advice sites on the web. Mint.com is one of the more popular ones that specifically targets the needs of young people. They offer free advice and online tools for everything from creating household budgets to finding the best banking services. So there's also a number of financial planning books written for young earners, and they do not have to come with a price tag because the local library likely stocks quite a few of them. Now, young adults might consider joining their parents in a financial planning session with their parents' financial advisor or investment professional just for educational purposes. Another item, consider following the 50-30-20 budget rule. Many financial advisors suggest that newly minted college grads begin to budget with this simple formula: 50% of income goes to necessities, 30% goes to discretionary purchases, and 20% is used to build savings or pay down debt. Now, this is a tough rule to live by, but it may help keep virtually any adult, even one well into his or her career, from seriously stumbling if unforeseen circumstances should strain personal finances. And we all know they happen at the blink of an eye. You never know when it's going to happen. You could lose your job. You could have a medical event. You could, I don't know, go into a pandemic and a global economic shutdown, something like that. Never know. Of course, saving money, especially for long term goals, may be an afterthought for those with student loan debt. And I've spoken about student loan debt on a couple of my videos. It's a tough things these kids are dealing with coming out. But again, you make a plan to attack it and you pay that loan down so that you can be free of that debt and move on with your life. I'm not saying it's easy, and it is a sad reality that a lot of these kids come out with some serious student loan debt. So for the long-term goals, you want to think of, saving money. So in the United States, this is where employer-sponsored 401k retirement plans can be a real boon to a young worker. Under these plans, many employers match up to a certain percentage of employee contributions to the plan, potentially doubling that portion of the employee's savings. So it's easy for recently employed grads to set up automatic contributions to a 401k plan through their company's payroll system so that money is saved for retirement before it can even hit a bank account, before they can think, oh, well, let me spend that money. It just comes right out of the check. And as an added bonus, a 401k plan may help a young investor get comfortable with the stock market's long-term potential despite its perceived risks. Now, A third thing would be to shop around for a bank account. Now, banks typically offer several types of checking and savings account, and that seems pretty basic to an adult, but a young adult may not know what all the options are. People who have been adulting for quite a long time, we may write a lot of checks and may need a bank that offers low or no checking account fees. Savers, or those who prefer to do most bill paying online, may prefer a bank with a high yield savings account. So it's important to find a bank that's convenient for you. It has retail locations and provides services at competitive fees. Now, some of those fees can vary bank to bank, and those could include your ATM fees, your balance inquiries, flat month fees, per check fees, overdraft protection fees, fees for going below a minimum balance, stop payment fees, balance check fees, and then, of course, count closing fees. So it's a long list. So you definitely want to read the fine print on the account application. Also, keep an eye on the expenses. One of the best ways to keep an eye on spending is to save your receipts. Total them up at the end of the week and make a note of where the money is going. If a lot of receipts are for nice, but not necessary purchases, such as coffee or lunch, try to cut them out, or at least half of them out. Coffee, I pick on the coffee people all the time, but coffee can be made at home and lunch packed in the work in the morning before work. Now, new grads should consider putting those hard earned dollars to better use by paying down debt, whether or not it's school loans or credit card balances. So keep in mind that the debt carrying the highest interest rates should be paid off first to keep expenses in line with your income. And of course, use credit cards wisely. Credit cards may seem like easy money, but the interest rates they charge can be high. Whenever possible, purchases should be paid for with cash or debit card to keep credit card debt low. Now, those who wish to get a credit card should shop around for the lowest rates and fees before signing up for the card. They should also consider paying more than the minimum due to pay down the debt as quickly as possible. In order to avoid creating bad credit card habits, I recommend that you pay off whatever you charged each month. This will help you think twice about pulling the credit card out every time you go into a store. And they should try to keep any balances below 30% of the credit card's limit. Most of all, they should remember to pay the bills on time. A history of paying bills on time helps build a good credit history, which is necessary for those big purchases down the road. Now, in fact, without a good credit history, it can be difficult to get a loan, which nearly everyone needs when it's time for a new car or their first home. A few key points. Learning does not stop after college. After graduation, young adults should get educated about finances, create and follow a budget, steer clear of unnecessary expenses, avoid high interest credit card debt, and of course, establish a good credit history. Thanks for joining me today. Again, I'm Regina McCann Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. My website is forgewealth.com. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Forge Wealth, and LinkedIn at Regina McCann Hess. Have a great day. Thank you.